Google just mass-fired an entire division of engineers. And then, 12 hours later, replaced every single one of them with an AI system that doesn't sleep, doesn't take breaks, and writes better code than any human on the team. This isn't science fiction. This happened this week. And the ripple effects of this decision are about to hit the tech industry, the stock market, and possibly your career like a freight train. Let me break it all down for you right now. So here's exactly what went down. On March 13th, 2026, Google's parent company Alphabet officially announced a massive internal restructuring of its DeepMind division. They've launched what they're calling Gemini Ultra Agent, an autonomous AI coding and engineering system that can handle end-to-end software development. We're talking about designing, writing, testing, debugging, and deploying production-level code, all without a single human touching the keyboard. Now, alongside this launch, reports from Bloomberg and The Information confirmed that Google quietly laid off approximately 2,300 software engineers across its cloud and DeepMind infrastructure teams over the past 6 weeks. That's not a small number. That's the population of a small town, gone from the payroll, just like that. But here's where it gets really interesting. Google didn't just cut these roles and move on. They simultaneously announced that Gemini Ultra Agent had already been deployed internally and had completed over 14,000 production-level code commits in its first 30 days of operation. For context, the average senior software engineer at a major tech company pushes about 200 to 300 commits per month. So this single AI system did the equivalent work of roughly 50 to 70 senior engineers in 1 month. Sundar Pichai addressed this during a company-wide memo that was leaked to the press. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the future of Google is not about having the most engineers. It's about having the most capable AI agents augmenting a smaller, more strategic human workforce. He called it the shift from headcount to intelligence count. That phrase alone should send chills down the spine of anyone working in software development right now. And Google isn't being shy about this. They're planning to offer Gemini Ultra Agent as a commercial product through Google Cloud by Q3 of this year. That means any company, from a Fortune 500 giant to a 3-person startup, could potentially access the same AI coding power that just replaced thousands of Google's own employees. Alright, let's dig into why this actually matters. Because on the surface, you might think, okay, big tech company lays off people and launches a new product. That happens all the time. But this is fundamentally different, and I need you to understand why. First, let's talk about what Gemini Ultra Agent actually is under the hood. This isn't just a fancy autocomplete tool like the early versions of GitHub Copilot. This is a full autonomous agent built on Google's latest Gemini 2.5 architecture with a context window of 2 million tokens. That means this system can hold an entire codebase in its working memory at once. Think about that. A human developer might be juggling 3 or 4 files in their head at any given time. This AI can comprehend and reason about millions of lines of code simultaneously. It uses what Google is calling recursive self-improvement loops. Basically, when it writes code, it then reviews its own code, finds potential bugs, refactors for efficiency, writes its own unit tests, runs those tests, and iterates. All of this happens in seconds. A task that would take a human team a full sprint cycle, that's usually 2 weeks, Gemini Ultra Agent is completing in under 40 minutes. Now let's compare this to the competition. OpenAI has been pushing their Codex-based agents, and they're impressive. Microsoft's GitHub Copilot workspace has been gaining traction. Amazon's Code Whisperer has gotten significantly better. But none of them have gone full autonomous at this scale. They're still positioned as assistants, copilots, tools that help you code faster. Google just leapfrogged everyone by saying, we don't need the human in the loop for most coding tasks anymore. That's a completely different philosophy. It's the difference between giving someone a power drill and replacing them with a robot that builds the entire house. Now, here's the thing that most people are missing. The 14,000 code commits weren't just simple bug fixes or boilerplate code. According to the internal data that was shared in the leaked memo, 38% of those commits involved complex architectural decisions. 22% were novel solutions to problems that the previous human teams hadn't been able to solve in months. That's not just automation, that's innovation. An AI system that doesn't just do the work faster, but actually does it better. Industry analysts are already reacting. A senior analyst at Morgan Stanley published a note calling this, quote, the most significant inflection point in the software industry since the launch of cloud computing, end quote. The CTO of a major Silicon Valley startup told TechCrunch that after seeing the demo, he's reconsidering his entire 2027 hiring plan. And on social media, The developer community is, well, let's just say, the reactions range from excitement to existential dread. Some experts are pushing back though. Jan LeCun over at Meta posted that fully autonomous coding agents still struggle with truly novel, ambiguous, real-world problems that require deep domain knowledge and human intuition. He's not wrong. But here's the counter-argument. They struggle with those things today. 6 months from now, a year from now, these systems improve exponentially. The version you see today is the worst version you'll ever see. Let me give you an analogy. Remember when self-driving cars were a joke? Everyone said they'd never handle real city traffic. Then one day, you looked up and Waymo had completed over 20 million fully autonomous rides. The same curve is about to happen with AI coding agents. We're at the Waymo moment for software engineering. Alright, let's follow the money, because that's ultimately what drives everything. Alphabet stock jumped 4.7% in after-hours trading the day this was announced. That's roughly an $89 billion increase in market cap in a single session. Investors clearly see this as a massive competitive advantage. And honestly, they're right. Now let's think about who wins and who loses in this new landscape. The obvious winners are the cloud computing giants: Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft Azure. If Gemini Ultra Agent becomes available as a service, every company on the planet becomes a potential customer. Google Cloud alone is projected to generate an additional $12 to $18 billion in annual revenue from AI agent services by 2028, according to estimates from Goldman Sachs. Semiconductor companies also win big here. These AI agents require enormous computational power. Nvidia, AMD, and even Google's own TPU division are going to see demand skyrocket. Nvidia's stock is already up 2.3% on the news, and some analysts are revising their price targets upward. But here's an angle most people aren't considering. The real winners might be small and medium-sized businesses. Think about it. Right now, hiring a team of 4 or 5 software developers costs a company anywhere from $500,000 to over $1 million a year in the United States. If an AI agent can do 80% of that work for a fraction of the cost, suddenly a 2-person startup can build products that previously required a 20-person engineering team. That's a massive democratization of technical capability. Now, who loses? This is the uncomfortable part. Traditional IT staffing and outsourcing companies are in serious trouble. Companies like Infosys, Wipro, and Cognizant, whose business models are built on providing large teams of software developers, they're facing an existential challenge. Their stocks collectively dropped between 3 and 6% on this news. If companies can replace a team of 50 offshore developers with an AI agent subscription, the math changes overnight. And let's talk about jobs directly. The Bureau of Labor Statistics currently estimates there are about 1.8 million software developer jobs in the United States. Industry forecasts now suggest that between 15 and 30% of those roles, that's roughly 270,000 to 540,000 jobs, could be significantly impacted by autonomous AI coding agents within the next 3 years. Now, impacted doesn't necessarily mean eliminated. Some of those roles will evolve. But let's be honest, a meaningful portion will simply cease to exist. But new opportunities are emerging simultaneously. AI agent management is becoming a real career. Someone has to oversee, fine-tune, and direct these systems. Prompt engineering for code generation is becoming specialized and lucrative. AI quality assurance, meaning humans who verify and validate what AI systems produce, that field barely existed 2 years ago. Now it's one of the fastest growing job categories in tech, and the salaries are incredible. AI agent supervisors at top companies are commanding between $180,000 and $300,000 a year. Here's a practical money-making angle for anyone watching this. If you learn how to deploy and manage AI coding agents right now, today, you can position yourself as a freelance AI implementation consultant. Businesses are desperate for people who understand this technology. You could realistically charge between $150 and $300 an hour for AI integration consulting. And the demand is only going to increase. This is a legitimate AI side hustle that could turn into a full-time 6-figure business within months. Part 5. Real-world impact and practical use cases. Okay, let's bring this down from the 30,000-foot view to street level. How does this actually affect you if you're a regular person living in the United States? Let me give you 3 concrete scenarios. First, healthcare. There's a startup in Boston called MedCode AI that's already using a similar autonomous coding agent to build custom electronic health record integrations for small medical practices. Previously, a small clinic with 3 doctors would have to pay a software firm anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 for a custom system. With AI agents doing the development, that cost drops to under $10,000. That means your local doctor's office can finally afford the kind of seamless digital systems that only large hospital networks used to have. Better records, fewer errors, faster prescriptions, smoother insurance processing. Your next doctor's visit might actually be pleasant. Second, education. Imagine a high school teacher in Ohio who has an idea for an app that helps students with dyslexia practice reading through gamified exercises. She has no coding experience and no budget. With autonomous AI coding agents becoming commercially available, she could describe what she wants in plain English and have a working prototype built in a matter of days for under $500. The barriers to turning a great idea into a real product are collapsing, and that unlocks innovation from millions of people who were previously locked out of the tech economy. Third, small business. Picture a family-owned restaurant chain in Texas with 12 locations. They've been wanting to build a custom inventory management and supply chain optimization system for years. But every quote they got from development firms came in over $300,000. An AI coding agent could potentially build that entire system in weeks for a fraction of the cost. Better inventory management means less food waste, lower costs, and ultimately lower prices for customers. That's the kind of trickle-down effect that actually works. Now I'm curious, do you think this level of AI automation in coding is a good thing or a bad thing? I genuinely want to hear your perspective. Drop your take in the comments. I actually read every single one. The conversation down there is often just as valuable as the video itself. And if you're finding this kind of deep analysis useful, you know what to do. That subscribe button is right there, and it genuinely helps this channel keep bringing you these breakdowns for free. We're building something special here at SKM AI Expert, and every subscriber matters. Part 6. Future Predictions. Alright, let's look ahead. Where is this heading? I've got 3 predictions, and I want you to save this video and come back in a year to see if I was right. Prediction number 1. Within 6 months, by September 2026, at least 3 of the 5 biggest tech companies will have launched their own commercially available autonomous coding agents. Microsoft will be next, probably within weeks. Meta won't be far behind. This is going to become a standard enterprise tool, like email or cloud storage. It won't be optional. Companies that don't adopt it will fall behind so fast they'll become irrelevant. Prediction number 2. Within 1 year, by March 2027, we will see the first billion-dollar company built by a team of fewer than 5 people using AI agents as their entire engineering workforce. Think about that. $1 billion valuation with essentially no traditional engineering team. This will fundamentally rewrite the rules of venture capital, startups, and what it means to build a technology company. Prediction number 3. Within 5 years, by 2031, the role of software developer as we know it today will have completely transformed. The majority of people working in software will not be writing code. They'll be designing systems, setting strategic priorities, and managing fleets of AI agents. The skill that matters won't be knowing Python or JavaScript. It'll be knowing how to think about problems clearly and communicate with AI systems effectively. The best AI tools in 2026 will look primitive by then. So what should you do right now to stay ahead? Here are 3 actionable steps. Step 1. Start using AI coding tools immediately, even if you're not a developer. Sign up for Google's Cloud AI Agent Preview when it launches. Get on the waitlist. Familiarity with these tools is going to be the new computer literacy. If you can use them, you're valuable. If you can't, you're at risk. Step 2. Invest in understanding AI at a strategic level. You don't need to become a machine learning engineer, but you need to understand what these systems can and can't do, how they're priced, and how businesses deploy them. That knowledge is worth its weight in gold right now. Step 3. If you're in software development, start moving up the abstraction ladder immediately. Stop defining yourself by the language you code in and start defining yourself by the problems you solve. Focus on architecture, system design, product thinking, and AI agent orchestration. The developers who thrive will be the ones who learn to work with these agents, not compete against them. Part 7. Powerful closing. Here's the bottom line. We are living through the most significant transformation in the history of software engineering, and it's happening faster than anyone predicted. Google just showed the entire industry what the future looks like, and the future has no room for complacency. I'll leave you with this thought. Every major technological shift in history has created more opportunities than it destroyed. The printing press didn't kill storytellers. It created an entire publishing industry. The internet didn't kill business. It created Amazon, Google, and an entirely new global economy. Artificial intelligence won't kill opportunity. It will create the biggest wave of new opportunity any of us have ever seen. But only for the people paying attention, only for the people who adapt. And that's exactly what we do here on SKM AI Expert. We pay attention so you don't miss what matters. I'm Kashi. Next week, I've got something even bigger coming. We're going deep on the AI company that's quietly building something that could make Gemini Ultra Agent look like a toy. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Make sure you're subscribed so it hits your feed the moment it drops. Stay curious, stay ahead. I'll see you in the next one.